Welcome to the Parsha Perspective. Each week, we will delve deep in a weekly Torah portion to find a practical and insightful way to enhance your daily life. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Rabbi Shalom Yemini, and each week we will look into the weekly Torah portion to find practical and insightful ways to enhance your daily life. This week's Parsha Perspective is in honor of the Refuah Shlema, the complete and speedy recovery of HaRav Amitai ben Shoshanna and Shaul ben Berta. This week's Parsha Perspective is in loving memory of Edward Ben Efraim, Shlomo Ben Edward, and Yirachmiel Daniel Ben Gedalia. May their souls be uplifted and may their memories be a blessing. This week's Torah portion is Parshas Vayakhel, Prepare to Thrive. Our Parsha begins with Moshe Rabbeinu descending from Har Sinai, from Mount Sinai, with the second pair of Luchos, with the second pair of tablets. He did so only after successfully attaining forgiveness from God for the sin of the Egel Hazel, the golden calf. He then gathered the Jewish nation to teach them the intricate laws of constructing the Mishkan. He told Berta and Eliyav that they were chosen by God to oversee and manage the construction of the Mishkan. The Parsha then goes through the building of the Mishkan and its components, from the beams and sockets that comprise the walls to the priestly garments worn during their service. However, a question comes to mind. The pasuk at the beginning of Parak of chapter 36 states, Va'asa Betzalel va'Eliyav, and Betzalel and Eliyav did the work. And yet just a few psukim later, the pasuk writes, V'yitchu milifnei Moshe eis kol ha'truma asher heviyu b'nei Yisrael. And Betzalel and Eliyav took all the donations from Moshe Rabbeinu that the Jewish nation brought. But how could have Betzalel and Eliyav done the work if they did not have the materials that the Jewish nation supplied? Why does the Torah first write that they did the job and then how they gathered the contributions? Many commentaries answer this question by explaining that the word va'asa, and they did, is used here in the future tense, meaning the Torah states that Betzalel and Eliyav will make all the components of the Mishkan. The commentaries explain that this pasuk is continuing at the end of last week's chapter, wherein Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the Jewish nation the merits and virtues of Betzalel and Eliyav, that God gave them divine knowledge, understanding, and awareness to create His holy and sacred home in our world. However, the Chassam Sofer, Rav Moshe Schreiber, an outstanding leader and scholar from the early 19th century, gives a deeper and more profound explanation. He explains that the term va'asa, and they did, is actually past tense, meaning that Betzalel and Eliyav did the work, but they did not build the components of the Mishkan, but rather they prepared to build them. They collected all the tools and equipment necessary to turn raw materials into divinely inspired pieces of the Mishkan. They pre-assembled all the artisans, craftsmen, and carpenters who were motivated like they were to begin the construction as soon as they received the donations. The Chassam Sofer explains that when Moshe saw Betzalel and Eliyav's enthusiasm, passion, and eagerness to construct the Mishkan, he considered the Mishkan done before the work began. He realized that God selected the most suitable people to oversee the construction, since God only had to add a design ability to a spiritually driven set of people who knew the why and now were given the how. In our daily life, if we wish to take advantage of the many opportunities that lie ahead, we must develop ourselves beforehand to realize the possibilities hidden in plain sight. We need to prepare our minds, hearts, and attitudes to visualize our path and utilize our God-given potential. There's a powerful quote about preparation. It is not the will to win that matters. Everyone has that. It is the will to prepare to win that matters. Have a great weekend and good Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Parsha Perspective. Check out our website, theparshaperspective.com. Send thoughts and comments to theparshaperspective@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.